The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Are you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to the Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you for tuning in tonight and welcome back to the Songwriter Show. I'm your host, Sarantos, a solo music artist who's been writing lyrics for as long as I can remember. Words are very important to me, and that's why I'm so thrilled to host this show. I truly believe that every song is a story. The Songwriter Show is broadcast live on number one ranked W4CY Radio with listeners in all 206 countries in the world and every state in the United States. The station is licensed with ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, and Sound Exchange, and has thriving partnerships throughout the music industry, including iHeartRadio and exposure to over 300 million listeners. Tonight's guest is Frankie Raye, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Frankie because she's got a great story. Frankie is based in the greater Tampa Bay area, and she's a singer-songwriter. She performs in over 20 shows per month. She's played in over 30 cities and 100-plus venues throughout Florida. She's got a brand new album called Brave, and it's scheduled for release in January. She's had worldwide distribution and self-produced, independently distributed song release titled Chapters in 2014, and she's also been featured on ABC and CBS affiliate morning talk shows. Welcome to the show, Frankie. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. You got a very cool story. It sounds like you're dominating the Florida market.
Trying to.
Yeah,
definitely trying to.
So do you meet Mickey Mouse down there? You hang out in Disney World or just Tampa Bay?
You know, it's funny. I don't make my way to Orlando as much as I would like to, but it's definitely a beautiful city, and you know, Disney World's amazing. So
yeah, it's the happiest place on earth, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about. We're going to listen to your song Brave later, but tell me a little bit about when you started playing.
So I basically started playing when I was probably around 13. So it's kind of taught myself how to play guitar. My whole family, they were all into music, and I just wanted to get into it as well. However, I didn't become a full-time musician until about three and a half years ago. I graduated college, and I had gotten a master's degree in education, and I was kind of thinking, well, I could apply for teaching jobs, or I can embark on this music journey and at least give it a shot. So I decided to do that, and so far it's been working out pretty well. So I've been full-time for about 3.5 years now.
Good for you. So you don't do teaching on the side at all?
No, I mean, I'll substitute teach every now and then just to kind of keep my feet wet a little bit.
Sure.
However, yeah, it's fun to have. It's almost like a hobby outside of music. It's fun to have, a job where I kind of make my own schedule, but then it's like, if I substitute teach, I got to wake up early and dress up nice. And, it's definitely a different vibe from playing music. So it kind of humbles me to have substitute teaching as like a side thing that I do,
That's great. It's like role reversal. A lot of times people have music as a hobby. You got teaching as a hobby on the side.
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
What grade do you teach? Or grammar school, high school? What level?
So it's typically elementary school. However, so I'm really short in real life. I'm 4'11". I'm just under 4'11". So I try not to go. I try not to go above second grade because the kids get really tall. And I've had fifth graders come up to me and ask me what grade I was in.
No, are you serious?
I'm actually a teacher. Yes, 100% serious. I've had teachers. I've been walking into the teacher's lounge and I've had other teachers say, who's your teacher? You can't be in here. And then I show them my badge and I'm like, I'm a substitute teacher.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
As long as you're not taking out the kids and they're not beating on you or anything like that, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So before I ask you, I was going to ask you a couple of musical questions, but we got a couple of fan questions for you already. How old are you is the first question they got for you.
Yeah, I'm 30.
Okay. And then the next question before I start asking you is, where do you play?
So I typically try to play anywhere I can. I'm based in the Tampa Bay area. So I play restaurants, coffee shops, basically any place that has live music in the Tampa Bay area, anywhere from Pasco County down to Sarasota County. And I do have all my shows listed on my website. Some of them are short, little festivals, or some of them are, longer, like in coffee shops or in bars or restaurants, and basically wherever anyone who will have me.
All right. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit. You told me that you play the guitar. How do you start writing a song? Do you do melody, lyrics? Do you do a riff on the guitar? How do you start?
Yeah, more often than not, it's me just coming up with a few chord progressions. And then usually from that, I hear a melody that I really like. And then I kind of, once I hum that over a few times, I'll usually record it on my phone of me just, doing la-las and doo-doo-doos, of the melody that I like. And then at that point, then I kind of sit down, and lyrics are extremely important to me. I like them to really mean something, and I have to be, they have to come from the heart, I can't just write about anything. So then I'll usually sit and kind of almost meditate on that melody a little bit and kind of feel out, what is this song saying to me? Is this a happy song or a sad song, or what's going on in my life right now that can fit this particular song? So then I go in with the lyrics.
Yeah. So you talked about something interesting that a lot of casual fans might not know, but when we describe melodies, you talked about dadas or lalas, and a lot of people don't realize that, but that's a lot of times what people do, and then they replace that with lyrics. Is that what you do?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I have recordings on my phone of me, la, 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 da, do, 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 and it's the syllables, too. Like, for some, I don't know, it's weird that there are certain notes where certain vowels sound better, and sometimes I'm actually writing one now, and the lyrics are not finished, but for the chorus, for some reason, I just started singing Take Me Home Again. I was thinking I could maybe write this song about wanting to come back to my roots and, my hometown and that kind of thing. And that just came out of nowhere. But the Take Me Home Again went really well with the melody. And I don't know why, but I don't know. Some of the songs just kind of start to write themselves. So
sure. Yeah. What's your favorite gibberish syllable to use?
Let's see. I do a lot of, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Probably that. I do a lot of da-da-da-da.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
What, who's your favorite musical influence, if you could pick one band or one artist?
Probably a local artist from St. Pete. Her name is Jerry X. She is probably one of the reasons I started doing music, and it was cool that she was local to the point where I could literally go to a venue and just see her and, get to talk to her and know that she lives right down the street. Her lyrics are incredible, extremely honest. She's very raw. And her style is cool. It's it's a folky rock kind of thing. It's got some rock elements, but it's also very backwoodsy and down to earth, It's really cool. She's a great artist.
That's cool. So you prefer the local flavor for artists? You think you get better relationship, you get to know them a little more intimately?
I do, actually. Yeah. Of course there are, bigger names that I like. I'm influenced by Ingrid Michaelson and Sarah Bareilles, and I like their songs and their songwriting style. But it's really cool when you get out and start meeting local musicians, because there are some great musicians out there, and just in Tampa alone, I see so many people and I listen to their songs, and it's like, man, I was just talking to her yesterday. I just ran into her at Starbucks, and, here I am listening to her new album on Spotify, and it's really inspiring. It really is.
It's wonderful. So you obviously do a lot of gigs. Do you still get nervous before shows?
Not anymore. I really don't. And I'm really happy at that, because I used to get extremely nervous. I used to have just crippling stage fright, and now, I've played some bigger shows recently, and I was thinking, back in the day, this would have scared the daylights out of me. Like, I would have been petrified. But now, even if it's a big venue, I get up and it's just like, okay, I'm doing the same thing I do every day, you know?
Yeah,
and I
awesome.
get excited now. Yeah. It's great.
Well, it's kind of like a habit. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
You just let your muscle memory take over.
Exactly. Muscle memory. And, you know, it's the same thing I do every day. So no worries. Yeah.
Do you teach any music since you're obviously a teacher? Do you...
No, I wish I did. The problem is I kind of, because I was self-taught with everything, I didn't really get the luxury of learning the fundamentals of music and music theory. I wish I did, and I'm actually starting to go back and reteach myself the correct way, but I don't really know music theory enough to teach it to other people. I mean, I have a hard time translating my songs to other band members, you know, like, what key are you in? Oh, I don't know what key I'm in, you know. So, but I am working on that because it is very important to know those things.
Yeah, I've been there myself. This is my 6th year, and when I started, I had no clue about any of that stuff. And I'll tell you what, I think it's important because when you start learning music theory, the key, all those little intricate details, it really almost gives you much more confidence to just kind of let go and experiment. So I think you're on a great journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we got another question for you. What was that?
Oh, I just said you got to know what you're doing. You know, it's like you never stop learning.
But I'm not cursed like you to just be naturally talented, you know, vocally and with the guitar. So it's great that you have that gift, though.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we got like 5 questions. Let me get to 2 of them. How can you go from stage fright to performing? I think they just mean, you know, how'd you psych yourself up to do it, or?
Yeah, I mean, how do you go from stage fright to performing? It's, you know, you have to learn to be okay with failing and with messing up. I say first and foremost, like, it got to a point where I was so tired of being scared to get on stage. Like, it was a point where I was so scared that it would mess up my performance, you know, and you could tell that I was nervous. You could see it in my face. You could hear it in my voice, and it was shaky. And, you know, and I was like, you know, I'm sick of this. Like, you know, if I make a mistake, I'm just going to go with it, and I'm not going to worry about it because mistakes happen. And, you know, you just keep going. I got so tired of letting stage fright get in the way of me performing. And I was like, you know, I'm done with this. Like, I don't care anymore. You know, I cared. It's almost like I started doing better once I stopped caring about being scared, if that makes any sense.
It does.
You know, it's like,
even someone like Adele, she admits that she throws up before big shows. So if someone like Adele is nervous, I mean, and, you know, we all know, okay, sure, take deep breaths. If your, you know, breathing is calm, then your heart rate and everything will be calm. But at the end of the day, the one thing I tell people too is most casual fans are not going to pick up the mistakes. They're have no clue. And you just got to keep going through it. Like, you read some of these famous artists, and that's the best thing you could do. Most of them, unless you draw attention to it, they won't have a clue.
Yeah. I mean, I've listened to live recordings of Sarah Bareilles and even Melanie Sofka, you know, a recording she did back in the early 70s. And they straight up got to a part of the song, and then they said, I forget the words. And then the audience helps them, you know, and you could tell at that point, they're having fun with it. It's like, that's the thing. To get over stage fright, you just got to realize, it's like, do you love doing this? Do you want to keep doing it? Well, then you need to have fun. And if you're scared, like, don't worry about messing up. You know, make it fun. And once I stopped worrying about that, and now when I make a mistake, I just kind of giggle to myself and just keep going, you know, and that's why I'm not scared anymore.
Yeah, I saw a skit of, I think it was Don Henley singing a classic song. What song was it? I don't remember. Hotel California. He was singing a classic song, and he forgot the lyrics on stage. And you're right, the crowd helped him out, and he laughed it off and kept going.
Yeah, I still forget stuff I've done every day. You know, it's like, it happens. You have brain farts, whatever.
All right, next question. Are you studying now? I'm not sure what the listener's asking, but maybe music? You said you're studying music theory. I think that's what they're asking.
Yeah, on my own, I'm starting to kind of, you know, learn music theory. I've been looking at some stuff online, and I've been talking to other people, kind of doing like a self rather than enrolling in another college course, But I was studying, I went to college, I got my bachelor's in art history, and I got my master's in education, so not music related at all. So I'm not really officially studying music, but like I said, I'm trying to teach myself music theory and, learn more.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's the funniest thing that's happened to you recently?
Funniest thing. Man, that's kind of, I guess I laugh a lot. I laugh at a lot of things. So to me, everything is kind of funny. I've had some interesting moments on stage where, people have been doing funny dances, I guess, in front of me. I don't know. I might need to think about that more.
One of the things I like to ask every guest on the show is, as musicians and songwriters, we're exposed to a lot of scams out there. Tell us about one you fell for, or, just so we can all warn each other about the kind of garbage that we should avoid out there.
That's a really good question. I feel like probably at least once a week at one of my shows, there's always someone who comes up to me who says, oh, I'm a producer. I want to work with you. I want to collaborate. And then I look more into it, and it's like, it's really scary to talk about this, but I've had experiences where there have been gentlemen who have said that they're producers or they invest in musicians. And then I kind of research what they've done more. And it's like, I don't know. Okay. For example, let me back up a little bit. There was one gig that I was playing, and this gentleman was sitting in a dark corner, and I guess he had a drink in front of him, and he comes up to me and he's like, I invest in musicians. I think, you're really talented or whatever. But then he gets this drink and he hands it to me. He's like, oh, and I bought you a margarita. Now, I wasn't drinking on stage or anything, so how would he know? And I'm thinking, that drink's been sitting there the whole time with him at the table. Well, then he grabbed one of my business cards, and I had my phone number on the business card, and I got a text from him later on, because I kind of, I took the drink and I said thank you, and then I immediately brought it to the bar and said, hey, dump this out.
Absolutely.
I don't trust it. But then I got a weird text from the gentleman saying, good seeing you tonight, look forward to seeing you later. And it's like, what do you mean later? Now, I was playing at a hotel, and the gentleman had said that he had played at a hotel, or he was staying at the hotel. So I don't know if he had drugged the drink and was expecting me to drink it, and then I don't know. But you need to be wary, and I'm not trying to make it like a sexist thing, but I do feel like as a woman, be careful of the people that come up to you and fill your heads with these, I'll make you a star and I'll do this and you come to my studio. Crazy. I have this nice house with this nice studio. And it's like, I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
What's your hidden superpower?
Let's see. What is my hidden superpower? I'm really good at hula hooping. I can hula hoop for forever.
What's your record? 5 minutes? 10 minutes?
When I was a kid, I actually went up to an hour and 20 minutes.
Wow.
When I was a little kid. My mom timed me on the TV.
That's insane. You were watching TV?
Yeah, I was watching TV.
Wow. I couldn't hula hoop for more than
it doesn't take
3 seconds.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at hula hooping, so.
Wow, good for you. What's your favorite go-to food before a show or after a show?
Ooh.
You there, Frankie? I think we're kind of losing you.
Oops. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay.
You were sounding robotic there for a little bit.
Oh, no. Yeah, it looks like I have. Oops. Hopefully my service keeps up. But so before a show, I try to keep it light. So I'll usually get like a quesadilla or a flatbread or something that I can keep in a box, because I can't eat a lot before a show, because then I start hiccuping and all that stuff. So I try to, get something that I can keep in a box that's easily reheatable. But after a show, it's all bets off. Mac and cheese is definitely my favorite food. And mac and cheese all day.
So very overload after the show, but not before, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So We got another question for you. What things do
Okay.
artists need to know? I think you've touched on a bunch of them, but is there one thing you haven't talked about that you think artists definitely need to know?
Well, one thing that my brother always told me, he's a musician too. He said, it's really easy to want to make moves and get noticed and start focusing on the business side of it, but you really need to focus on your craft first before anything. Like, don't ever and I've been in situations where I get so caught up with booking all these gigs, and it's like, no, I want to book this and this and this and this, but then it's like, yeah, I'm booking all these gigs, but am I improving on my craft? Well, no, because I don't really have time to practice new things. I'm so busy doing the same thing. So there's that. And don't cut corners on things like photography and promo videos and a website and a press kit. Like, I know I just said don't focus so much on the business side of it, but what I mean is you need to get your little package together. Like, you need to get some decent photos and, good video, good audio quality. Like, don't cut corners on it and say, well, my buddy can film me for free. And then what you see is it's not that good,
Yeah.
It's like, don't have your buddy who has an iPhone take pictures of you and say that those are your press pictures. You need to look professional at all times. You need to, dress professional. You need to talk professional. You have to, just get your package together and make sure it's professional. Make sure your press kit looks like an actual product. People look at my press kit and they're like, wow, who did this for you? And I'm like, I actually did, but it's because I, put the money in to get a good pictures and good video. And then again, I'm focusing more on my craft. It's like, you always try to get better. Look at what you need to get better at and then do it. Don't ever stop. Yeah.
I think that's great advice. I stopped a couple of years ago, even caring about social media engagement, marketing, and I just focused on lyrics and singing. And I think that's great advice. You gotta keep improving your craft before you can focus on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
If you could get rid of one state in the United States and you can't say Illinois, which one would it be and why?
Oh my goodness. That's so hard. Let's see. One state.
You're not going to say Florida, so I guess.
I'm not going to say Florida.
Other than Florida or Illinois.
If I say their state. I haven't had the best times in Alabama. But,
okay.
I mean, I don't know. Oh my gosh. I hope no one hates me for that.
Alabama's your choice? All right. It's just going to be broadcast on the internet forever. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
What's the next trip you got planned?
I wish I had a better. Well, in June, I'm trying to go up to Nashville. However, I'm not totally sure if it's going to happen, so there aren't any immediate trips planned. Actually, I know in May I'm going to drive down to Key Largo for the Key Largo Songwriters Festival, so that'll be fun. That's not really far for me because I'm already in Florida, but it's still a trip. So
yeah, Nashville's great. I love Nashville. If you get to go there, I love it.
Yeah, I've only been there once actually, so it's like I need to go back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about if you were in an alley and you could graffiti the wall and not have any consequences, what would you graffiti on there?
Probably an eyeball.
An eyeball? Just one eyeball?
Yeah. I don't know why, but that's always the thing that I go to when I'm drawing because I love eyes. I think they're really cool. I think they're all unique and, I don't know. I like eyes. So I do this really elaborate eyeball.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
You just want to watch over everybody, right?
Yeah. That's it.
All right. We got another fan question before we get your website info and let you go. What needs to be in a press kit? Someone is asking.
Oh, all right. You need high quality photos, a biography, not too long of a biography. They don't want to read, about your whole childhood and how you learn, that stuff's for interviews and all that stuff. But, a short, sweet biography that kind of lists your most current projects, what you have coming up. You need at least 2 really good audio, either a sample or, a full song. I have full songs on mine. A really good promo video. I mean, I'm saying have someone come out and film you that's what I did. I had someone film me live at a gig, and they were, filming me play. And then in the meantime, I was like, they edited it to the point where it's like you could hear me in the background singing, and then I was doing an interview one-on-one, just talking about myself and my music, So you definitely need that. You need a kind of like a resume of sorts. So if you look at mine on my website, I've got bullet points of all of my projects that I've done, and they're separated by, radio interviews, which I've got, this one actually listed on there too. So radio interviews, television, anything. If you've ever been on any news programs, you want to have that listed on there. Big festivals, notable places that you've played. So I always put, I've played at the Hard Rock here in Tampa. It's a pretty big venue, other big stuff. So you want to list that, but then also you want to make sure you have a downloadable version, probably in like a zip file or something on your computer, because some places don't want to just go to your website to look at your press kit. They want to actually have the files. So for that, it needs to be like a zip folder with, a separate Word file that's a biography, then another one that's your resume. Then you need to have some downloadable pictures and, basically everything you've done. It's kind of a one-stop shop for everything that makes you awesome. So you want to make sure it's there. A good quote is helpful if you've had someone write about you. Like I know I had a cool quote written about me in musicfestivalnews.com. So I have that up there on my press kit. I've got a cool little quote about one of the songs that I did. So just something there, that people can see that other people are talking about you,
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of sites that can help you, like Reverb Nation, Music X-Ray. They all have, if you upload your songs every month, it's, you can easily make a press kit on those sites too. So
absolutely. And I use Bandzoogle for my website, and they have a cool little template that kind of helps you figure out how to organize your press kit. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. Before we listen to your song and find out about your website, last question. What's the dumbest way you've ever been injured?
Oh my goodness. I injure myself all the time. I would say.
Is it the second graders?
I know, right? It is. They ganged up on me. When I was a kid, I broke my arm, my left arm, and I was sitting on, I had one of those old school desks that like you can open it up and you have an inside area, but then you can have it slanted. Well, I remember I was sitting on my desk, it was slanted, and the desktop was, it could have flipped back easily, and that's exactly what happened. So I was sitting there, and I don't know why I was deciding to sit on my desk. I don't know. I was doing something stupid. I was only like 4, and I leaned back, and I did a flip, and I just like broke my arm just from playing on this stupid desk thing that I had.
Does not sound like
I don't know, but I always trip. I'm so clumsy. I'm always tripping. I'm always shocking myself. I'm always getting injured.
Except on stage, right?
Yeah, except on stage. I've never fallen on stage.
On stage, luckily. You're not a klutz. That's good.
Yes.
All right. Where can our listeners find out more information about you, and where can they buy your music?
So FrankieRaye.com is my website, and that's where you can find the press kit and the shows and all that fun stuff. And then also on FrankieRaye.com, I have links to all of my social media sites. The handle for all of those is Frankie Raye Music. So there's that, but all the links are on my website. I also, if you type in Frankie Raye Music into Spotify or iHeartRadio, I'm also on there with my first album. And I definitely have my new one coming out, and I have a couple songs from the new one on my website. So if you go to FrankieRaye.com, you can hear some of the new album, and you also can find links to the older album as well.
Wonderful. Now tell us about this song, Brave. What inspired it? And then we'll let you go and listen to it.
This song is extremely, extremely important to me. I wrote it after the shooting at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. I had friends that used to go to that club. I've been to that club. It was actually a really intense thing, because I remember when it happened, I woke up in the morning and I was like, oh my gosh, like easily one of my friends could have been there last night, easily. So I kind of freaked out, and I had to call everyone to make sure everyone was okay. And I just started thinking about I don't know, the stuff that goes on in our world, and the hate that everyone faces. It's like we've overcome a lot. If you look back at history, things are, I guess, a little better now than they were back then. You know, we've overcome a lot, you know, with different movements that have happened in our society, but we're not there yet. We still have hate. We still have racism. We still have sexism. We still have, you know, it's just hate. And however, I think if we all work together, we can overcome it. And that's kind of what the chorus is about, the main gist of the song. I also, the first verse, I talk about the Brock Turner rape case, you know, and you know, listeners can look more up about that if they want, but you know, there are problems with that. We have, you know, people raping people and hurting people and killing people for what, you know, it's for nothing. And it's sad, but I also think that it's important to keep faith in humanity and hope that we can all be one day, you know, and overcome. We just got to keep moving forward. So that's what the song Brave is about. We all have to learn how to be brave in the face of hate and anger and terror.
I completely agree with you. It's crazy that there's so much hate in the world still.
Absolutely.
There's no place for it. We're all human. No. We all bleed the same blood.
We do. We all are skeletons when we die. We all our skeletons all look the same, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful show. Thank you for being with us. I know you got a gig happening right now, and I hope you enjoy it, and we're going to play your song.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, Frankie. Have a wonderful night.
They never mentioned his name on the news. A Stanford boy couldn't do much harm. They never gave her truth, the truth that lies beneath their white smiles. But all of us know what this is about, boys. It takes all we have just to be safe. It takes everything we've got just to be brave in our hearts. Through everything we worked for, all the walls we've crushed and the love we've made. Brave in our minds. Through everything we ran from, all the bonds we built and the hate we face. Just to be brave. His only plan was to save the world. Loaded and ready, he gave them what they deserved. And he saw his skeletons in their smiles. See, he knew he couldn't laugh along. But the trigger was pulled and we'll divert the blame now. Because it takes all we have just to be safe. It takes everything we've got just to be brave in our hearts. Through everything we worked for, all the walls we've crushed and the love we made. Brave in our minds. Through everything we ran from, all the bonds we built and the hate we faced. we face. Just to be right. I wanna be
Well, that was a wonderful song. I want to thank Frankie for being on the show. In listening to that song, it's interesting to hear a little bit about what she was talking about. If you get a chance to check on her in Florida, that's definitely her home state, and she's definitely doing a bunch of gigs. 20 gigs per month is pretty impressive. So last week was Valentine's Day, and we don't have a second guest this week, so I thought I'd play you one of my songs that I released a couple years ago called I Love to Love You Too. The song is basically a dance song, and you can definitely hear some auto-tune and some cool, interesting effects. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. So here we go.
I don't remember. You're still in my head. You're still in my head. My head. When we get back on the dance floor, moving and grooving, you got me wanting more. 'Cause you know what to do. Baby, I love you. I love to love you too. I wish you always knew I want to be with you. I love, babe, to love you. I love to love you too. I love to love you too. Lover, lover, love me too. Lover, love me too. So right, I love to hold you tight. Baby, you want me now, I'd love to show you how. Love to show you how. Step out on the dance floor and show me how. Show me how. Come on now. I love to love you too. I want to hold you. I wish you always knew. I love to love, love you, love you, love you, love you. I love to love you too.
Thank you so much for listening tonight. A couple questions about that song specifically. It's an EDM dance type of song, and obviously it's very heavy with the synthesizers. And you can imagine that it's a type of song you'd hear at a dance club while you're out there dancing the night away. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. I want to thank you for your questions. I love having an engaged, active audience. It makes the guests feel special that you're listening and asking them questions. And I know some of you out there are actually artists yourselves. And I want to let you know that if you're interested in being on the Songwriter Show, please email me at sarantos@songwritershow.com, or you can go to songwritershow.com and fill out the interview request form. Obviously, even though we're booked out for a few months, we'd love to have you, and we're always trying to have all sorts of artists on the show. We've had artists on the show that have won Grammys. We've had artists that are indie artists and are just learning their craft. So we try not to be biased towards anybody. I'm going to leave you with the song. There was a special CD I released. That was a surprise CD in December, and it was all sleep instrumentals. It had 12 original instrumentals that basically help you fall asleep, because at one point in my life I had a hard time falling asleep, and I know it's an affliction that bothers a lot of people. So hopefully you can play this CD or stream it on Spotify or Apple Music and listen to it, and it will soothe your mind and soul and help you fall asleep. So the song we're going to listen to as we close out the show is called Alpha State. And again, I want to thank you for listening. I hope your own unique story gets heard around the world. My name is Sarantos, and please join us every Tuesday night here at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time so you can hear other amazing artists share their fascinating behind-the-scenes stories right here at the Songwriter Show. Have a wonderful night and enjoy Alpha State.
Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.